Now, one of the big arguments that people use against electric cars is that it doesn't really matter how efficient they are because they're only as clean as the energy you use to power them. And that makes complete sense, right? After all, if you're using a coal-fired power station to produce the electricity, you might not be producing exhaust fumes out on the road, but you are still burning fossil fuels somewhere conveniently out of sight, which means you're just basically moving the environmental impact around. Where renewable energy steps in. Now, this green energy doesn't rely on the Earth's finite resources. Instead, it harnesses its natural forces and it can significantly reduce the environmental impact of running your electric car. So today we're going to talk about wind. Come on, no sniggering at the back. I mean this kind of wind. Wild Horse Wind Farm, set amidst the rolling hills of Washington State, USA, is home to 149 wind turbines. Each one produces enough energy to power an average of 450 homes. So the turbines are about the same height as the Statue of Liberty. Each blade is over 120 feet long and it weighs a whopping 7 tonnes. Now, here in the US, wind power is the largest source of renewable energy, and that's just one of the many things we share with our friends here across the pond, because it's also a pretty big deal back in the UK. Back in Great Britain, in the right conditions, we can generate as much as 24% of our electricity from wind power alone. Now, that's enough to supply 18.5 million homes. Our weather is one of the reasons that the UK is considered to be amongst the best locations for generating wind energy in the world. And we're in Caerphilly in Wales, where the weather isn't always that good. But actually, that's perfect because it means it's often windy. In 2020, wind actually generated 75,000 gigawatt hours of electricity. And at the end of May 2021, the UK had almost 11,000 wind turbines, both onshore and off. Now, it's actually so windy here in the UK that if we made use of absolutely all of the available wind, not only would we have loads of turbines everywhere, but we could, in theory, produce enough electricity to power all of our homes 3 times over. So, how does a wind turbine like this one actually take the stuff that just messes with my hair and turns it into something that can power my car? So wind power, well, it's not new. From flying kites to windmills grinding grain to make flour or draw water from wells, we've been making use of wind for thousands of years. In fact, the first windmill used to make electricity was built in July 1887. It was built by a man called James Blythe, and he used it to charge a battery to light his holiday home in Marykirk in Scotland. So a wind turbine works by converting kinetic or moving energy from the wind into electrical energy. Now, it's essentially the opposite of an electric fan, which converts electrical energy into moving wind kinetic energy. Now, the most common modern wind turbines use fan blades that look a bit like propeller wings. So they're shaped in such a way that when the wind hits them, it creates high pressure on one side and lower pressure on the other. And this pressure difference creates a force that pushes the blades and makes them spin. As the blades spin, it turns a long drive shaft, which feeds into a gearbox. This in turn increases the speed of the revolutions from 18 to about 1800, which spins a coil of wire inside a magnetic field. This movement produces electricity that can be used to power your kettle or even charge your car. Now, the best thing is that the wind is free, clean and efficient. Even when you take into account the installation and manufacturing of the turbine, the power it produces means it pays for itself within about a year. The downside? Well, wind is inconsistent, as you can see from our visit to Wild Horse Wind Farm. But we are getting much better at managing the ebb and flow of when the wind blows. Now, I do get that loads of people don't like the idea of wind turbines just plonked across the countryside. But actually, the best place for wind isn't really near anybody's house. It's kind of over There.
Ugh. I knew I'd get the tough gig, but this is where we're making even bigger strides in wind power, offshore. We're moving from ugly oil rigs to elegant wind turbines. This is Rampion Wind Farm off the coast of Sussex, and it's big enough to provide energy for 350,000 UK homes every year. Out here, there are 116 turbines all strung out between Brighton and East Worthing back on the coast, and they're about between 8 and 15 miles away from the beach. With each 140 metre turbine turning, this place produces enough energy to power half the homes in Sussex. And this is just the beginning. Work has already started to provide every home in the UK with clean, green, renewable energy. Because there are plenty more plans for offshore wind in the seas around the UK, and I think it's going to be amazing. And you know what? I happen to think they're quite beautiful.
But the really great bit is whether they're in the midst of the English Channel or here in America, these turbines are going to help us revolutionise the global power grid. It might be the future, but it is coming. And I'm a big fan of that.